Good afternoon, everyone. We are the Data Destroyers, and thanks for joining us this post-lunch session on our JobBot Analyzer idea. We have myself, Amitabha, Jing, and Naga in the team. So we thought, in terms of what we have learned from all these classes and the projects and the sessions we did, how could we combine all these data and the different APIs that we kind of learned about into a business idea. So that's our idea. We think that in today's day and age, if you are able to put your emotions into 140 words, why can't you search for a job in Twitter as well? So we thought we will try Twitter as a channel to look out for jobs for people who are interested in. So this is with that, I'll give it over to Jing. She's going to go over the first part of it, where we show Twitter as the job analyzer.
Okay, that is the three things we want to know is how to search for jobs, what the way you're using to search for jobs. And the other one is where are the jobs? We want to show where is the place they really have specific jobs. The third one is how do I find a good job? Say, okay, which company is good, and I want to work for there, in there. Basically, I remember Amit said last class, say, data is dry. So for next 5 minutes, I'm talking about this is not the data, and my two partners will talk about the data side. That's the website. It's like my Twitter account I created just for this one. We think about what the name. I gave the bot analyzer, but it's kind of not that good. We think about the others, but either they're used by other people, or we don't have time. So if anybody have a cool name, just like us. Okay, this is the result. If when we show the people, if you want to know where is the job, like United States, we'll keep that way. I'll explain that more. This is the workflow. We start here. Is like if you have a Twitter account, you want to know the jobs. Say, oh, what job is good? What job I'm looking for? So you can just tweet me, like at bot analyzer, a job for, and you can put the job names there, like teacher, or nurse, or data science. Basically, I have a code. We have a code. The bot analyzer is sitting there. And when you have this one tweet to the bot analyzer, and they're going to check every 3 minutes and start the work for you. What they do is they go to the Glassdoor to search the job specifically for your request. And then we generate two analysis. One is the segment analysis, which Amit will explain this more. And the other one will generate the data side, reflect your request, which Naga would talk about the data side more, how she, what the search criteria she's using. And after that one, we have generate this two analysts. One is based on the city, say this job, what the city you have this job, and how many jobs in this per state. And then we have another one to generate the segment analysis rate based on the company rate. Then they plotted the image. This is 3 image they plotted. Then we tweet this 3 image back to the Twitter account, the bot analyzer Twitter account. But in the same time, you get notified, say, oh, you have the result there. You can just click your notification in your Twitter account to see it. This is the code. There is pretty straightforward, actually. The two things I want to mention is like, because you want to search, right? The next time, I don't want to run it. If I stop programming, I don't want to run it again to generate your result. So what I put in there is there is a CVS file to record the ID for each tweeter. If it's already tweeted to you, we're not going to do that. And the others I want to mention it is like we're based on the keyword here you put in. I generate the things we try. If there is some jobs you say the things is not really the job title or job name, then you don't get the result. This is the example we generated for the nurse job for United States. This is where is the which city you have the job. I want to mention this because thanks to Matt, he helped me with the image generated. I got stuck there for 2 days because I can generate the HTML pretty easy. However, when I try to put into the image to put on the Twitter, it was giving me a hard time. I cannot do that. Eventually, Mac helped me go with this Plotly package. So I still have to use this key to generate an image directly. This is the jobs we are generated per state. You can say that is showing you how many jobs for the specific request. This is the segment analyst, and Amit and Naga will explain this more. There is a things I want to mention is this job analyzer. We try to make it as much as automatically as much. So they generate based on the criteria put in. They generate they're showing here automatically, and also showing here and showing here automatically. And as you can see, this is the one we generated for nurse. It's like this. And this one is for the software engineering, which nurse have much more demanding. Yeah. Next one, I'm going to give to Naga to explain the first one.
Careful.
Hi guys, I'm going to explain how do I get the data from different sources. We identified Glassdoor and Indeed and LinkedIn APIs. So Glassdoor one, they gave some APIs with using job statistics and company reviews, but unfortunately we didn't get the job postings APIs. At the same time, Indeed and LinkedIn, they are not public APIs, so we chose Glassdoor one. From the first part, job statistics by city, we used by creating a query. I used as a job analyst, data analyst as a job title, and created an API. By using that API, we used JSON format to create the data frame like name of the city, number of jobs, and latitude and longitude. By using that latitude and longitude, Jing created that heat map. This is the data frame I created for how many jobs within particular city and within particular state. This is the job title using data analyst. The New York City have 5,580 jobs in data analyst. Like versa, we took the US states. So the next one is the second API I used is company reviews by job title. By using this API, I used as a job title as a data analyst, and I created a API, And by using that API, we created JSON format by using employer and employer location and employer reviews. By using that review, they have like pros and cons and headlines about that particular company they are working. This is the just API format I used. You can give the any job title here, and you can give any location within US. So this is the data frame I created, and by using this, by using Amitabha, the sentiment analysis, I created a data frame by using particular cities. So by using that cities, you can see that the sentiment analysis by using like by city wise. Here you can see that Baltimore, in particular city, Baltimore have the negative. Baltimore employees have negative comments on their particular companies. We can see that. This is the statewide sentiment analysis for data analysts in USA. You can see that Maryland employees have more negative thoughts about their companies in particular data analyst jobs. That's it. Next one is going to.
Right. So as you can see in our story, we are putting this all together in terms of how to search, where they are, where the jobs are, and then how do we find what the good jobs are. Like Naga mentioned, we downloaded the sentiments, the feedback in terms of pros and cons for employees, for employers from employees, and then use Google NLP to kind of do the analysis. Now, Google NLP does analysis at multiple levels. You can analyze the sentiment in terms of the comments in pros and cons. So when you have a comment about an employer, you can overall analyze how strong the comment is, whether it's pro or con. And then the other part of it is the entity sentiment analysis, where you can actually go inside the comment and then look for keywords. For example, if I am interested to know what are good paying jobs, I could actually go inside the comment and look at pay as one of the parameters and see how strongly positive that came out from the reviews that have been put in Glassdoor. And that would help us identify not just good jobs, but customized job searches by feedback from reviewers, right? So moving on, this is an example of what how a feedback would be analyzed using the Google Entity Sentiment Analyzer. It says lots of turnover due to contract model. So here you kind of go and analyze each word. Google goes and analyzes each word and comes up with a magnitude score and salience. So the magnitude and the score is the overall sentiment. Magnitude meaning how strong you go, and in terms of the overall statement, and then score is the particular word. And then the salience is the arrangement of the sentiment across the sentence or across the text actually. So it gives you the entire analysis broken down in terms of decreasing order of salience. So the first few words are the most relevant in terms of the text that you're analyzing. So these are some of the words that came up as the top positive words and top negative words from my analysis. Obviously, a lot can be done with this, this API. This just came out last year. And in the financial world, something like, this is very similar to what Thomson Reuters and other financial data providers do, but this will help you to kind of, lift off any project where you want to, do a sentiment analysis, and, looking at jobs will be one example of that. This is a, view of, the different words that we captured, and, in terms of salience, how they score. Obviously, there is no pattern to it, but we were hoping that there would be something. But generally, what we found though was there are a lot more positive words that people use to describe companies than negative words. But That's just the general trend. We wanted to also connect more jobs as well, the job descriptions as well as the company reviews. I believe that is something we were not able to do based on the data set that we got. So provided we have the funding for this project, we can, get a license from one of these job websites and put it together as a job aggregator service. This is how Google monitors, the calls that you're making. So this helps you kind of also know what your costs are, and you can come up with a really nice, quick costing model in terms of how much our project would take. So just wanted to bring it up. Any questions?
So you guys experimented with Google NLP, which is really cool. It looks basic. What was your experience with that compared to Vader? And do you actually feel like this is better and more sophisticated?
This is definitely better and more sophisticated. Because this is the first time when I was able to actually go into the text and parse out in terms of the sentiment at the level of the entity. So for example, if you had, somebody writing, Reuters really, does bad with pay, Reuters is your entity, and then it goes and analyzes in terms of specific keywords. So if you say that, I'm interested in hearing what people are saying about pay or work-life balance, you will see right away because, you have to search by work-life balance for your text, and it will tell you for each entity, how work-life balance is rated based on the comments that you get and you review. So that's where I found it beneficial.
Great. Other questions, maybe one or two?
When you did the job search as well as the sentiment analysis, right?
Right.
What is the correlation between these two?
It's very correlated. Like if I want to become a data scientist and I'm sitting here in New Jersey, I want to see if I have good jobs in data science in my neighborhood. So we are answering both those questions. One is, where are the data scientist jobs? Is it in your neighborhood? And the number two is where are the good jobs in terms of whatever keyword you want to define as good. Obviously, it will take a little more time, but we already have the tools to be able to do that. You can say, I want work-life balance, and we will give you a graph in US, like Jing did, with overlaying what is your work-life balance in terms of different regions, in terms of the companies that are interested in data science. So that's the key.
Just to clarify, you define the positive words and the negative words? Or
We define that, and that's how we culled the data out of the comments that are posted. But obviously, as phase 2, we can make that user definable. So you could actually, while you're tweeting, say data scientist, paid or something like that, and we will be able to pull it out for you in the graph where good paying jobs are available for data scientists.
I guess maybe one of the charts kind of threw me off because when I saw the negative words and the positive words, the negative words didn't seem negative and the positive didn't seem positive. I wasn't sure.
Right, I think we need to do more work here. We wanted to kind of,
Go back one slide.
Okay.
It's this one.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you want to clarify your question, maybe?
Yeah, maybe I'm missing a piece because how are those positive words?
So good question, because I think this is just the word in terms of the sentence itself. As you can see, it has salience, very high salience, as well as a high score. But you have to look at the full sentence to be able to say. I mean, once you have parsed out this data, you can do a lot of other analysis too, which was our goal too. Like, what are the most frequent words used by reviewers? I mean, this is something even companies might be interested in, right? How are I being rated in terms of, all my employees who are going out and talking about me in any other website, right? So I think that's, just indicative of that.
Just to clarify, what you're saying is like a word like salary, when it shows up in a review, is often associated with a negative sentiment. And when, say, somebody talks about people or environment, they typically are
There you go.
positive.
That's another. That's a good point, Amit. You made. We did see that pattern too. It seems like when you're talking negatives, you're talking about salary and that kind of stuff. When you're talking positives, you're talking more about teams and work culture. work-life balance and that kind of stuff.
And I only bring that up from my own experience at looking at Glassdoor from my last company that I left, which I won't mention. The word nepotism kept coming up, and sure enough, I could vouch for that. And salary, sometimes just people, here's the salary, it's okay, so like I was having trouble associating the negativity.
Right, I think one of the reasons, we need to increase our population too. We didn't have the time to run through all the reviews that we could pull from Glassdoor, but we have the tools for doing it.
Okay.
So that's what we wanted to kind of show.
Great.